Good morning, everyone. Hello, my name is Lenny Marcela Gorat. I'm from University of North Sumatra. Here I want to present about international phonetic alphabets and generative phonology. Here, here are the title. Here is the title of what I want to talk about. The first is international phonetic alphabets, and the last is generative phonology. So, international phonetic alphabets. Definition. The International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA, is an alphabetic system of phonetic notation based primarily on the Latin script. It was devised by the International Phonetic Association in the late 19th century as a standardized representation of speech sounds in written form. So the function of IPA was created to represent the speech qualities that are part of the lexical and to some extent prosodic sounds in spoken language, such as telephone, phonemes, intonation, and the separation of words and syllables. Learn how to produce sounds such as gnashing of teeth, slurs, and sounds made with a cleft lip and cleft palate. An expanded set of symbols can be used. So why we should use the IPA? The first reason is every language has its own unique aspects. For example, English has 26 letters convey the 44 syllable sounds of the English language. Confusion ensues. The vowel sounds alone are enough to leave you bewildered. There are only 5 vowels, or 6 if you count the occasional Y, to convey over a dozen vowel sounds. And the reason number 2 is never trust a vowel. Vowels were something else. There were only 5 of them, but they seem to be everywhere. Why? You could go through 20 words without bumping into some of other consonants, but it seemed as if you couldn't tiptoe past a syllable without making up a vowel. Consonants you knew pretty much where you stood, but you could never trust a vowel. So the solution, with the International Phonetic Alphabet or APA, you can learn any language with clearly defined symbols, no matter how the real language is spoken and written. Imagine you can study any language in the world with a consistent, word-recognized symbol of phonetic symbols that tell you the exact proper way to pronounce the sounds in any language you choose. The sounds are clearly defined for any language. You know exactly how to say it. The second guessing or wondering if you got it right this time. So each IPA symbol has one sound and each language has its own set of symbols necessary for that language. These are the table for vowels, where the symbols appear in pairs. The one to the right represents a rounded vowel. And this is the consonant, the table consonant, where the symbols appear in pairs. The one to the right represents a voiced consonant. Shaded arrows denote articulation, just impossible. Next, generative phonology. Definition. Generative phonology is a component of generative grammar that assigns the correct phonetic representations to utterance in such a way as to reflect a native speaker's internalized grammar. Generative phonology is concerned with the generation of rules that apply to the phonemic level of representation to yield the phonetic level of representation. Among the various schools of phonology, generative phonology is well known because it has become a standard theory against which most other work in phonology has been measured and evaluated. It is a branch of phonology that came to prominence. Sound pattern of English, wherein their aim is to eliminate and factor out redundancy from phonological analysis. by using phonological rules. Generative phonology was the creation of Noam Chomsky and Maurice Hale, both to be professors in the Department of Modern Languages and Linguistics, and later Department of Linguistics and Philosophy at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT. The following are crucial components of generative phonology. First, levels of phonological representation. Generative phonology possesses two levels of phonological representation. First, an underlying representation is the most basic form of a word before any phonological rules have been applied to it. Underlying representations show what a native speaker knows about the abstract underlying phonology of a language. And second, a phonetic representation is the form of a word that is spoken and heard. And next is phonological rules. Phonological rules map underlying representation onto phonological representation. They delete, insert, or change segments, or change the features of segments. Third, the derivations. Fourth, distinctive features. Distinctive features make it possible to capture the generalities of phonological rules. And the last is linearity. A stream of speech is portrayed as a sequence of discrete sound segments. Each segment is composed of simultaneously occurring features. That's all for my presentation about international phonetic alphabets and generative phonology. Thanks for watching. See you next